I want to have some real talk and share with you what it really takes to play in college. As a college coach, I have attended many camps and showcases over the years. And at the end of most of these camps and showcases, one thing that happens is that athletes are allowed to ask the coaches questions in a group setting. Okay, and they always ask, how do I get recruited? How do I stand out? What are the things you like? And a lot of the coaches respond with, hustle, heart, grades, and all that stuff. And those are great things. But I'll tell you what, I've gone to so many of these things. And about a year ago, I finally kind of just, not snapped, but I kind of just said, okay, this is enough. So here's what you need to understand. What I said to them is this. What stands out to me is skill, period. If you want to play at a high level college, skill is the number one thing that stands out. Okay, so for me, the bare minimum is attitude, effort, hustle. You do not want to play in college if you can't even do those things. So having your best effort, having a good attitude, being coachable, hustling, that's the bare minimum to get into the door. Okay? Everyone's got to have that. But if you want to play at a high level, you want to play in college, you have to actually be good. I give the examples like at a baseball showcase. If there's 200 kids there and you throw 95 miles an hour and you're one of the top kids there, you're getting noticed. You're gonna stand out. But if you're in the middle of the pack, if you're number 100 out of the 200 kids there and there's not that many coaches there or only high-level coaches, you're in trouble. That showcase is not a good thing for you. That camp setting is not good for you. You just kind of lit some money on fire. So to me, that's really not the best way to do it. So you have to understand that for college coaches, especially at the high level, skill is the thing that stands out. In baseball and softball, it's power bats and power arms. So those are the things that you need to see. In a big camp format, the big schools are seeing the top 1% of the kids there. So evaluate where you are in these groups. If you go to a camp or a showcase and you see like you're in the middle of the pack, that can be okay, but you need to evaluate what your expectation level is. And again, if you're not in that top level of that camp, you need to go back and focus on development. And I can tell you right now, so many of you are spending so much money on showcases and camps and exposure and not enough time and money on development. And I will tell you, I've coached at every level: NAIA, D3, D2, D1, SEC, Pac-12. I've coached at every level there is. And there is a place for you if you want to play college sports, okay? Whether it's NAIA or D3, if you're not in that top level, that's okay. But you have to set your expectations at that and focus on camps, exposure, and things for those coaches. But if you are in the middle of the pack or the bottom 50% of that camp, and your expectation is to go to a top level school, then get out of that camp right now, go work on your development, get better, and then come back to the camp. Okay? But if you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm willing to go anywhere. I have a younger brother who played football and baseball at a D3, and he was an all-state player in football. And he was willing to go anywhere, went to Minnesota to a Division III school there, had a great career there, and he set his expectations at, hey, I'm willing to go anywhere, and so that's a great place for him in those camps. But if his expectation was only to play D1 and went to those camps and showcases, he would have burned a lot of money up. So my best advice to kids when it comes to real talk of what it takes to play in college is focus more time on development than you do on exposure and camps, unless you're in that very top level percent. Figure out how to get to that top level percent, and to me that's with practice and development, not in showcases and exposures and camps and things like that, unless those camps are helping you get better. Okay, and again, so just you need to have expectations, real expectations of what your level is, real expectations and evaluation around you. If you look around you and again you're not one of the top players that showcase, go back and develop. And to me, again, if you want to know what coaches are looking for at camps, they can tell you all they want: hustle and hard work and all those things. Great. Being a good teammate, absolutely. You have to have all those things, and all those things are very important. But if you don't have actual skills, you're not good at the game. There's no coach that's going to say, you know what, he had a really great hustle, really good heart, terrible player, but I'm going to recruit him anyway. You've got to work on your skills. You've got to work on your skills. So that's my best advice of the day in regards to what it takes to really play in college. And I can tell you right now, I've told this story many times. I go to camps all around the world. I speak at these camps and I ask the kids who wants to play in college. Almost every kid raises their hand. And I tell them, if you really wanted to play in college, you would actually love the process of trying to get there. And I can tell you that 50% of the kids, at least, that I talk to, their parents have to force them to go practice. Their parents have to force them to get off the screen, the iPad, their Instagram, and go practice. And to me, that's athletes who don't really want to play in college. To me, the kids that get up early in the morning, they go train after school, unprompted, but without their parents telling them what to do, those are the ones that have the best chance at playing in college. And it's not the best example, but I can tell you right now, 30% of Major League Baseball professional players are from Latin America, and I can tell you, I know a lot of Latin American kids who wake up and 8 hours a day are playing baseball. Okay, I'm not suggesting that there's not enough hours in the day here, and you still got other responsibilities to take care of. But the reason why they are so good is they spend so much time on development. Okay, you can't spend 20 minutes a day at something and say, you know what, I want to play at the highest level. I want to go play in the SEC or Pac-12 because it's not realistic if you're not really putting the time in. And I'm not talking about time hitting the exposure circuit, the showcase circuit, or anything like that. I'm talking about real time on development. So that's my best advice on what it really takes to play in college.